Restaurant Unstoppable. What the most successful restaurateurs know that you don't. So I know you were traveling around. How important would you say it is to travel, and what advice do you have for somebody who wants to travel? I know you spent some time in Paris. You were in California. You were in Phoenix. Why is that so important early in your career?
You know, I say that the best thing that any young cook can do is to travel. You'll see different things, whether it's a different perspective on how to look at food, different cultures, different ingredients, different everything. I mean, it's so important. And then when you are traveling, take every path, not just the path that everybody else took, and not just off the beaten path. You just got to look everywhere. Go everywhere. Be curious.
What's determining your path?
Oh, I don't know. Like when I go to a new city, what determines my path is I start walking, and then when I have to go to the bathroom is when I go inside. I don't know. I just kind of walk around until you find it. Yeah,
I dig that. So any key experiences during the come up, these early years where you're traveling to just kind of develop your palate and get perspective, any specific area that you think you transformed the most during that time?
I think that I learned a lot about how to be alone and how to how to push myself a little bit. One of the things about traveling when you're young is you really don't know anything. Like I didn't know my ass from my elbow.
How old were you when you were traveling?
I started touring with bands when I was a teenager, and then I moved to Florida when I was 17. I was traveling around at 18, 19.
You were 22 when you came back to the Northeast, right?
I have no idea.
It's all a blur.
Yeah, I was born in '77. I moved to Boston first in 1997.
Okay.
I lived here for a little bit, but I wasn't ready. Moved back to Connecticut, stayed with some friends, worked there for a few years. I moved back here in around '99.
Okay.
I would say to anybody traveling, just ask everybody questions and don't think you know anything. Ask questions you already know the answers to. And then wait for the answers. And if they're not, exactly. If they're not your answers, figure out why and find that perspective. Exactly.
Yes.
Don't be so stubborn and don't think you're a know-it-all, because a lot of the younger cooks now, even the ones that before COVID were traveling around and staging places just for the experience, they wanted to show off. They wanted to tell me that they had the experience to know something. That's great. I'm glad that somebody has that. But I don't care. Like, if you're coming to stage with me, you're not coming to stage from, necessarily for you to teach me how another restaurant puts their cilantro in a container.
You're there to absorb.
You're here to learn something.
Yeah.
If people want to learn from you, they will ask. And I think that I got that as a young kid because I was so shy. I didn't know what to do. And then as I got a little bit better and got a little bit arrogant and cocky when I was really young, like 22, thought I knew everything, and I, spoke to hear myself talk sometimes, and, gave opinions where they weren't needed. That's not helpful, and I realize that now.
Yeah, so the big lessons I'm pulling up as far as the appropriate way to stage: show up, absorb, ask questions. Even if you know the answer, get that perspective and know that you're there to learn, not to share what you know. Some of the key lessons. But you also mentioned that you learned how to be on your own. You learned how to be solo. And I think that's important advice because it's something that I've learned. I'm kind of going into this a little bit selfishly because I'm curious in how you learned how to be alone, what you've learned about how to be alone. I spent the past 2.5, 3 years on the road recording for this podcast, and it gets lonely when you're out there staging, getting out there. Just how do you stay positive when you have nobody to, like, when you're working 16-hour days, 5, 6, 7 days a week? How do you stay positive? How do you not let that loneliness get to you?
You've got to find your passion. If you find something that keeps you motivated and you know why you're doing what you're doing, you know what you're doing. You're traveling around and making podcasts. You know how you're doing it. Do you know why? And if you know why, you're gonna be able to acclimate.
What was your why?
My why was I wanted to learn, and I wanted to be a chef. I just wanted to be able to teach people. And in order to teach people, you have to learn. And I knew that I just needed to be a sponge.